Sunny and Chief. It is episode 23 here this Saturday morning. Happy to be here with all of you. Not sure if you guys can see my activity status, whether or not it shows up that I'm live or not. I did put it on, but we're here. So share out that live. Let's get some of our friends in here for coffee talk. Happy you're all here. Hope you have your good or favorite cup of coffee with you. I have my cup of positive vibes with me this morning. How about you, Chief? Fantastic. So, welcome, guys. If you haven't already shared out the live, be sure to do so. We have 7 in the house so far. We are kicking off our coffee talk. If you joined us last night, we, of course, were where we are almost every Friday, which is on our Veterans Night with so many of you. Good morning, Dana. And what a great Veterans Live we had last night, Chief.
Yeah, that was one of my favorites of all time, I would have to say. Just such a diverse crowd, so many good topics and amazing people. It was really good. I needed that last night for sure.
Yeah, it was nice to see new faces in the boxes. And I think that's something we've talked about even last week, which was, oh, I think we got 3 new faces in the boxes. And that's always, makes me happy to see that we're reaching more and more veterans out there and more are finding comfort in the group. And that's what it's all about, community, guys. What were some of the takeaways for you from last night?
I had quite a few, but it wasn't just veterans. We had such amazing support even there in the chat last night. And some of the takeaways for me were the diversity. We had a lot of retired vets. We had some that just kind of over every span of career. We even had our brother Nathan in there who had just graduated his MOS or AIT school, and he's getting ready to ship out to his first duty station. And that really took me back into time. And there was just so much love and support in there last night from all different walks of life that it made me really reflect on the diversity of the support um, that you've been able to cultivate on this platform. So I thought that was really cool. Really cool.
It was super cool. It makes me really happy. Guys, as you know, I'm not a veteran. And for, being able to create a space, as I call it, for our veteran community. And it's been a road, guys. It's been 2 years of, that consistency and dedication to our veteran community and being able to give them that space. But the connections that are being made, I tell you, it's pretty freaking amazing. And you're 100% correct, Chief. It is our veteran for the largest part, is it our veteran community, but it's our supporters. We have them here today, our supporters who just love and pour into the veteran community as they do, always showing up. And that means the world to me. It really does because they're doing so much, not just here on the platform, not just when we go live, but even behind the scenes. And so many don't even realize it. And it makes my heart smile. It makes my heart smile. So when people say, Sunny, why do you do this? I'm like, I'm not the only one. There's many of us out here who are fully committed and invested into helping our veteran community and raising awareness. Um, last night I closed out our live with that song, We Are the Champions, and we are. Every single day that we get up and we fight the good fight, as we call it, and we don't want to, and we got through another day. And many of those moments, we do it together. That's the truth of it. We talked a little bit about energy last night and how so many felt off all week. And we went around and obviously had our check ins with everyone, how their week went, things they're looking forward to. And, but if anything, I felt like everyone felt supported, even the new individuals that came in. I felt at least that they felt welcomed, everyone engaged everyone. And I love the group and I love what we're doing. And we're going to continue doing just that.
Yeah, I was really proud because genuine support, it's goes beyond words. It's about consistent actions, respect, authenticity, and it isn't just for show. Like I said, it's consistent over time, not just when it's convenient for a person or just because it's publicly visible. So this is amazing people that continually show up and support, whether it's a good time for them or a bad time. It was, a long week, a rough week for a lot of folks. And It's really amazing when people support one another. They don't just wait their turn to talk. They truly listen and validate experiences. And it was a last night, it was comforting because people were able to talk about, what they've got going on and in a supportive community where they're respected. Um, Instead of, people saying, just be positive, it could be worse. Their feelings are validated. Yeah.
100%. We're not always going to have good days, including myself. I'm seen as she's always smiling. I don't always have good days. I don't have good weeks. I didn't have a good week, you know, and I do lean into that support. And support comes in many forms, you guys. And one of the messages that was shared last night, keep finding your light, even on those really hard days, hard weeks, sometimes months. We go through these seasons in life where you're just like, ugh, you're in a funk and it's hard, and we do have them. That's part of being human, is juggling everything that's being thrown at us, whether it's on a personal level, externally, what's going on in our world. I mean, it's an accumulation of different stressors. And it's recognizing that, okay, have those conversations with yourself. Actually, we talked about that yesterday. It's okay to talk to yourself. And some of our friends said, yeah, sometimes I talk back, give myself answers. And that's okay too, because that means you've put in some work and you know what you got to do. You can recognize when you're off and you're not doing okay. And, but most importantly, one of the things that we talked about last night was, at least in our community, and I know this exists in others, not to take away from what they're doing, but somebody will answer. Somebody will always answer, whether it's a phone call, a DM. You're not alone. You just have to reach out and keep searching for that light, whether that light's in somebody else or somewhere in your on your journey, in your path. You can see that light. You just got to keep fighting. And when you feel like you can't, that's when you lean into a friend and say, "Hey, you want to walk with me?"
Absolutely. And they respect your time and energy. They say, let me know how I can help. They mean it and follow through with it. They're not just saying that. And they don't guilt trip you for not always being available or pressure you into things you're not comfortable doing or saying. And it's like a mutual growth. Real support's a two-way street. You find people that uplift you, but you have to be that person back. There's no scorekeeping. It's a natural give and take. So I always say, if you really want to find a good supportive system, you've got to be the person that can give that back. You've got to be that person deserving. And I think we're all capable of doing that through our consistent actions, really.
Absolutely. Matching energy, guys. It's a reciprocating relationship. And yeah, there's going to be days where you're giving more of yourself than the other person can at the moment because you're going through something, and that's understood. But matching energy means that it's that give and take that he's referring to. It's reciprocated energy and feeling like, I know I got you, you got me. Because yes, we'll find our friends sometimes in a place or a position where you're doing all the giving as well. But at some point, the person that's continuously giving is going to be on E. And that's where we have to be careful as well in taking care of oneself. Self love is not selfish, and you have to take care of your well being in order to continue helping others. And this is something that Sunny's had to practice, because for a while there, I was burning both ends of the candlestick. I just kept helping and giving and helping and giving. I wasn't giving back to myself, and quickly realized that I had nothing to give to anyone, including myself. So taking care of one's mental health, it should be priority in your life. Like, not selfish, but selfish, if you know what I mean, and you can understand what I'm saying. Um, we're so much better when we're taking care of ourselves.
Agree 1,000,000%. And watch out for fakes. There's fake support, especially on this application. And it's something that I've been learning just over the past year being on TikTok. But there's a lot of people that only support you when it benefits them or makes them look good. They'll disappear when you actually need help, or they'll get jealous when you succeed instead of celebrating with you. Sometimes their support feels like a transaction. They expect something back from you, even if it's just making a video or commenting on a video. And there's a lot of energy drainers and drama seekers out there. They love to be around when there's chaos, but vanish when things get real, because we all know that misery loves company. And those people tend to bring more negativity than they do encouragement or positivity or how to work through things. You know, there's a lot of people that will manipulate or guilt trip you after all you've done, all I've done for you, you owe me kind of stuff, or they make you feel bad when you set your boundaries with them and prioritize your needs. So it's a lot of things to really look out for, but I think that those it's visible. You can see what support really looks like over time. You can see the actions and not just the words, you know.
Absolutely. We could talk about that a little bit, actually. Actually, this is a conversation that both Chief and myself were having yesterday. I said, oh, it's kind of like, welcome to the club, and I'm sorry that you're here on this part, which is, in the beginning, it feels really great when you're kind of identified on the application. I'm like, oh, they're a creator, they're doing this. And you kind of love bombed, right? You're loved bomb. Everybody wants to know what you're doing, how they can kind of get in on it. Well, there's no membership. You just got to be kind and respectful. That's pretty much it, honestly. And then you start to realize that the intentions aren't um, there for you. You know what I mean? They're either clout chasers. And yes, we get cloned on this account too. We get cloned, whether it's your ideas, whether it's your persona, or your accounts for that matter. I have a few out there. Um, and it kind of hurts your feelings, especially when you start to build relationships with people. And not everybody says who they are true, because there aren't. I found a lot of like, oh my gosh, it only took me like a year to figure out your true intentions. My goodness, because genuinely we want to believe that people are true and that people are good and they want to see you rise with them, you know. And one of the sad parts of doing the things that we do, or having the nonprofit, or hosting the Uniting Veterans across the nation, is that yes, it's exciting, and I welcome anyone to come on in, ask questions, learn more, see how you can support or even be a part of it. But at the same time, like, do they really want to see you shine? And the shining isn't even me; it's our veteran community. And sadly, some, if it's not advantageous to them, um, it's not there. And you soon start to discover, I call it being used. And yes, I've been used a few times, sadly, but we also learn, and I've gotten more protective of the mission because it means that much to me. This is kind of what we were talking about yesterday, Chief. You just continue being your unique self because people see, respect, and love you for that. You're not trying to be anything other than yourself, like myself. I can't say that I followed in the footsteps of another civilian doing what I'm doing, because I didn't see that, and it kind of fell into what it is as a result of just being consistent and discovering what it is that I wanted to do. Initially, I came on as I want to be a voice for the veteran community as a veteran advocate. Didn't necessarily know where I was going with it, other than I'll host Veteran Lives on every Friday. It's Veterans Night. And we've been able to do that for the last 2 years. And I'm grateful that we found each other. So this application, although has been, it's a roller coaster ride. It really is. It puts you into all kinds of emotions and feelings, but it's had its blessings. We found so many of our veterans and friends, our supporters. It's truly remarkable what it's been able to do in connection.
1,000,000%. Yeah, finding your community is an amazing emotional support because it provides a place where you feel safe enough to share struggles and victories. And it really gives you a mental health boost. Sometimes it feeling seen and heard reduces your anxiety, depression, and loneliness just talking about it. And when you find your community, like I say, you're comfortable doing that, and it adds value hearing other people's stories. And that, for me, it kind of helps to resonate whatever they're talking about, that shared knowledge, learning from others' experiences and gaining insight. That really helps. And being a part of that community gives you that a sense of purpose, something bigger than yourself. And that really is motivational. That gives me energy to take action and look forward to doing that next thing. But more importantly, what I've found in a supportive community, it helps you step out of your comfort zone and truly embrace your authentic self, because those that accept you the way you are, they'll embrace you and celebrate you and stand behind you. That's support. And if you go off the tracks or you're not acting yourself, they'll ask you, like, "Is everything okay?" They hold you accountable.
Accountable. And I'm going to share this. Just yesterday I received a DM from one of our friends, and she said, Sunny, you doing okay? I said, yeah. She goes, well, your face. It always goes back to my face. It gives it all away, guys. So my face, really? She goes, yeah. I said, well, if I'm going to be honest with you and myself, the truth is no. I had a rough week, and I can't tell you why. I could just tell you that my energy was in the toilet, and I did a lot of fake it till you make it, get through it, push through. And even the messages that I was putting out in my daily planks, you know, they're for you guys, but they're for me first. Honestly, it's those are my reminders. And I read them and I write them, and it's like how I'm feeling. And if I'm feeling this way, I know there's somebody else out there feeling it too. And that's why I add those messages in because they resonate. And I appreciated the fact that this individual, and there's more than one, I will say, amazing people on this app who will reach out and say, hey, I'm doing my check ins. You do them for everyone else. Are you doing okay? I'm like, well, thank you. I appreciate that because I'm seen too, you know? And I go through life just like the rest of you. We all have things constantly happening, events and whatnot. And the truth of the matter is, I have to address why is my energy so low? And we're going to go back to what you were saying about community and the support and how it helps us. And I realized when I took a mindful moment for myself, where I sat with my thoughts and I was questioning myself, like, why the hell am I feeling this way? I don't think I have the flu. Why do I feel this way? I'm just waking up like it was taking every ounce of energy to get up this past week. And that's not me. That's just not me. And that was my own mental health check. And I said, all right, what's been going on? I know what's been going on in my life. And for 2 straight months, I was like up here, and it wasn't pleasant. And it was a lot of things happening, emotionally speaking, which were affecting my mental health, which was a disturbance in my everyday. My mindset was affected. And when everything started to level off, which was at the end of last week, where I was like, okay, some things are coming back down, my emotions, everything, my body responded. My body was tired. And that's where the exhaustion came from. And I don't think we often make that correlation of the stress and how it affects our mental health. Our body physically feels exhausted. Even last night, I mean, it was that kind of day. I got home from work, I did the tasks I needed to do, picked up my daughter, and I just said to her, I said, I got to lay down. It's like I needed to recharge even before doing my life. That's also not me. I don't lay down. So pay attention to those signs. That's your body trying to communicate with you. It's trying to tell you, hey, take a minute, figure out what's going on with you. What do you got to do to get back on track, to recharge and re energize? And I'm going there to say that I was super grateful yesterday. Chief actually hosted a music therapy live, and it's not his regular scheduled time. I did tap into it, I listened, and it did me a world of good just to see people just pouring love into other people without even knowing what kind of day they're having. And that's what it's about. When we say practice kindness, you don't know what people are going through. There's truth there, and it made me feel good about the rest of the afternoon. So many others that came in felt amazing. And we do recharge each other, even when we don't realize that we're doing it. And there's power in that. And there's power in building the community that you're building, which is both on the 420 Chief side, the sunny side of freedom, and so many that come here and go there, and we go back and forth. And it's just awesome. So thank you for that, Chief.
Definitely my pleasure. That's therapy for me. I do the music lives because that's a way that um, something that I've found that helps me change my mood. And this week, like you said, it was rough. A lot of things going on, some things out of my control. But what I found was when I hit the live, people showed up, and then amazing people showed up. But I did want to talk a little bit about, you mentioned the stress, and I don't know if everybody realizes it. I'm not a doctor, but I stayed at a lot of Holiday Inn Expresses in my life. And I know that when I'm highly stressed out, that triggers like the cortisol and adrenaline in your body. It actually has effects on your body, like it increases your blood pressure just from being stressed, weakened immune system, trouble sleeping, increased belly fat. But for me, like that brain fog gets really bad, and memory issues where I struggle to find my words. Um, and I don't, yeah, it just makes it harder to get through the day and it really takes a toll on your body. Just that lack of sleep. Like for myself, I'll feel it in my shoulders or my neck, or I'll have some back pain. It messes up my immune system. If I'm in a stressful situation for a while, I'll start to get sick. Like I'll get like sinus infections or whatever. And it's just, like I said, I'm not a doctor, but I've been stressed a lot over time and learned how to pay attention to how it impacts me. So yeah, the lives definitely
Absolutely.
helped, like the music and the support in there. That was awesome this week.
No, it truly was. And you don't have to be a doctor necessarily, but the correlations have been made that it definitely affects your physical health. God, I had 2 days straight. I had a woke up with a headache and I was like, shut this down. We got to shut this down, get at the core of it. And that's the core of your truth. What's going on with you, and you may have to do that self-assessment for a while, until I think we need to do it every day. Like, what kind of day did I have? What did I do for myself today that made me smile? It could be a cup of coffee that you stopped and got a cup of coffee. Something simple. It doesn't have to be something ginormous, but most definitely affects your mental health, your physical health, your emotional health. You feel a little bit off, you're irritable, all those things. And yeah, sleep disturbance as well. So be sure to, pay attention. And I know it's hard when you have a lot going on because you're not focused on necessarily, it's like a fight or flight. You're fighting through it, that you're not taking time to pause and breathe. And as I've always told you guys, I'm always going to be honest and transparent with you. And part of that relationship that we have is being able to tell you, yeah, I struggled too. My mental health was definitely in the toilet all week. And you pointed something out, and I actually brought it to your attention. I'm like, oh my goodness, you guys always say I'm great with my words, and I struggled to find words this week when I was talking, or I had squirrel moments. And if you were on my lives, I'm like, where the hell was I going with that? I'm like, that doesn't happen to Sunny guys. I can usually like do that in the bank. And this week, every time I was live, I was like, I did it again. Squirrel, what the hell? So again, your body will tell you when something's not okay and that it's time to shut some things down and take time to kind of either heal, work through, go for a walk, whatever you can do. And I know that yesterday, in conversation with Chief, he was like, oh, it's unfortunate that it's raining and cloudy. And it was what it was in my area. I couldn't even really go for a walk and enjoy that. I still found time though. I sat at the park with the dog, which was really nice. And that helped. That helped a lot. So there's that.
Yeah,
But
there's a
what
lot
else
of things
would
you
you?
can do to I was just gonna go with that. There's a lot of things you can do to kind of combat stress. Like you do your mindful moments every day. You do that, the mindful plank, and it doesn't have to be a plank, but if you can find a calm, safe place where you can be alone without, distractions or whatever, you can just practice mindfulness or deep breathing. Breathing techniques are amazing for calming down the nervous system. But if you can't, um, exercise. It was rainy this week, so I wasn't able to go out in nature, which is like my favorite way to balance out. But just exercising inside, that can help a lot. That boosts your mood. Um, 420 helps, or CBD even. Those things can help a lot regulate stress levels. Um, Community and support, like we're talking about today, just with finding the life, finding your people. Somebody that's like-minded that can help fill your cup. And music therapy is a big one. It's just like we talked about with the nooner sessions this week. It really helps to kind of reset, and then setting boundaries that protects your energy from toxic people and toxic situations. Just be aware of what you're getting yourself involved in and avoid that. So that's just some things that I wrote down to combat stress.
Absolutely. And one of our friends here in the comments section said, jump in a mud puddle. I've done that too. That's usually when I'm on my, I'm good. I'm goofy that way. Chief's actually seen me do it, dance around puddles. But, absolutely, Chief. Absolutely. You've got to take care of it. And, it's the exercise piece. I was actually thinking this week, I'm like, as soon as it gets warmer and so much of the snow and everything else goes away, I may very well once a month, maybe start it off. It was something I did at the beginning of last year was walk with me. And I started that and I ran it for a few months. And then when I started up the veteran meetups, I got busy and I stopped doing that. but it was a walk with me, and I would go live with all of you. And we would set a time and we would just go walking together wherever that walk was. Some walked around their blocks, some went to their designated trails, and it was awesome. I felt amazing. You all felt amazing. Everyone started a fitness journey almost like, oh, that felt amazing. I'm going to do that again. And then they started doing their own walk with me. And that was truly inspiring. And I think I've actually mentioned it to you once since then. I'm like, oh, I kind of feel bad that I let that go because there was so much therapy in there just for that. It was encouraging people, even if they didn't feel like going out to walk because their friends were going. Everybody wants to be a part of the party, so to speak. So that was really cool. And those that had physical limitations and couldn't necessarily walk just joined the live because it was helping them on a different level. So we may be bringing that back. We'll see. I'll keep you guys posted on that. But there's only so many free hours, which ties in with your schedules and the things that you have to do, the to-do lists, all that good stuff. Anything you want to bring
Yeah, the
up,
ice
Chief?
is starting to melt now, so it'd be good to get back on the trails. I miss it. There's nothing like taking the
I do
dog out
too.
and going hiking down the trails. That's to me, that's therapy. Walking the dog, going down the trail, especially when nobody else is out there. I love that. And I'll find my little safe spots, have safety meetings, and chill with the dog, listen to nature. There's just so much going on out in the woods, especially when no one else is there that you hear. I don't know. For me, that's therapy.
It
Unless
most
my dog
certainly
jumps in
was.
the mud.
Then that's different. And I'm going to go to that because I think one of the cool parts about that was we were able to show everyone where we were. So I walk around the water, so there's water. It was in the woods, all that. And bringing the dogs is always nice. They get a treat out of it too. I think my dogs were disappointed, like, oh no, we don't get to do that anymore. But most certainly. And guys, for those of you that are new to the Sunny Side of Freedom, welcome to Coffee Talk. We're here every Saturday morning. This is episode 23. If you're interested in figuring out who we are and want to know more, 420 Chief has his own YouTube channel, has his own website, as do I. And I do upload Coffee Talks on my YouTube channel, Sunny Side of Freedom. And most of you already know we have our Break Stigmas nonprofit. So I'm actually wearing this shirt, our Break Stigmas. That's both myself and Chief. And the back of it says support the mission with a QR code. If you're in a position, again, this isn't for anything other than getting it out there, bringing awareness to our mission and what it is that we're doing out in our communities and what we're looking to do and bringing awareness for our veteran community. Oh, I'm breathing, Mark. Chief, did you want to add anything?
Nope.
Okay.
Not to that.
So one of the other things that we do, and some of our friends who have already been, good morning, Nathan, and welcome to Coffee Talk. Um, we interview our veterans. Okay, we get their stories out because their stories are important. I actually have a veteran interview today, so I am excited about that. I will be going live and getting this individual's story out. And I can't wait to share that with all of you. You'll see some of my shorts. I encourage all of you to go to my YouTube channel. Subscribe, it's free. It'll also notify you when I go live. So when I am hosting these veteran interviews live, you get a front row seat and you can engage in the chat as well. Chief also has been very busy with doing the same. And these stories are important for so many reasons, not only because their stories matter, but because it may resonate with someone else. And when you're sharing, it encourages somebody else to share. And I've heard that a few times this week. I'm just going to go for it. It's been the theme. Like, I'm just going to go for it. It really, truly helps others want to share because they can see that someone else is doing it. So there's some real power in that as well. And if you're a part of these interviews, like you're watching us live interviewing, throw them some love, the individuals that we're interviewing, because it takes courage to do that.
Yes. I know when I first started therapy, my therapist told me, you should write a book. And I was always like, no, that's stupid. Because to all of us individually, it's our story. We're used to it and it's normal. And what I found when we're doing these interviews and you hear people who think they're just so ordinary and they tell their story, it's magical. And I take away, and so many other people take away from their stories because it relates. And I especially like the interviews that you and myself have put out because these are real life folks, very relatable, similar situations a lot of times. And just the way people tell their story could impact a person just from listening to it. I know I take away something every interview, like just listening to people and what they've been through. It always resonates with me. And it's like, man, you really feel that and how they've overcome and what they've been through. And I don't know, there's just something about that that's magical to me.
Absolutely. When we can resonate with a specific feeling, like, oh, I understand what that feels like, um, it's pretty awesome because now you've just made a connection with an individual. You can have that dialogue, and it feels comforting to know that somebody who's listening on the other side is like, I get it. I understand. Even if your story's different, guys, we resonate with feelings attached to those stories, right? So, I definitely love doing the veteran interviews. I had taken a little bit of a pause there for a bit because we were busy. I was busy, guys, organizing these meetups, which is something else I want to talk about the benefit of these meetups and why it's so important to have them. And when we go back to how we started this live today, talking about the importance of community, and when we don't have a sense of community, we feel alone. And that's just the truth. You're alone with your thoughts, you're alone with yourself day in and day out, and you can get lost there. And even though we can repeat, I don't need anybody, it's not that you don't. I honestly feel in my heart that people need people and we need human connection on some levels at some capacity, you know, and it does help and improve our mental health. It's an outlet. You want to go get a cup of coffee, you want to go for a walk, whatever it is. And it does improve our mental health. So, yeah, I'm always going to go back to find a community that works for you. Maybe it's not this one, you know what I mean? But having a sense of community definitely feels supportive. I know that I've established this community for so many, but I've also established it for myself. I know that I have many on here. If I needed somebody, I would reach out to them. The next question is whether or not you would. Some of us have lived a life of coping and dealing with things on our own, and working through that healing journey has been hard when you have to actually open up to others. And we don't necessarily know how to do that. And it's work in progress, it's practice. I've also shared with the group where I'm like, gosh, I struggle. I really struggle when it's time for me to share my stuff, you know? And that's years of practicing how to stay silent in it. And it's like, now no, 2025, we're breaking that silence. Let's go. Part of being human is having feelings and thoughts and emotions and sharing what's going on. How else are we going to truly make it real? Like it's really happening and we're talking about it.
And we're providing platforms where people are becoming more and more comfortable to talk about it. And we see that every week. And what I think's the most amazing, I think you had asked that at the beginning of the live, like my takeaways. What I've noticed is we're building, not just building a community, but we're networking multiple communities. We've got some amazing people from the Wolfpack fam AFF fam. We got the Sunny Side of Freedom fam, 420 Chief fam, and it's completely diverse. But there's just similar interests, whether that's the plant medicine, whether that's veterans, whether that's service animals, or whether it's just people who are looking to fill their cup and find a supportive group of real people that consistently show up. But it's people feel that energy and want to be a part of it. And every time somebody like Nathan came in last night, and I'm so proud of him, um, he just got out of his school. His wife and kids were there with him, and he was sitting in the hallway on the live to show support. And when he spoke about what he was going through, that just took me back into time, man, and it hit my heart. And I think that that touched a lot of people that were in the live last night, just hearing what he's going through and his perspective and how he was still there being so supportive. And I don't know where else I would find that camaraderie, and genuine. authentic support. It's growing.
Absolutely. Truly inspiring actually said, wow, I needed to hear that. I needed to hear it because this morning my energy was higher, guys. I'll tell you from last night. I needed all of you guys as much as you needed the live. You know what I mean? And we do that for each other. And then there's really no price tag on that, honestly. Whether or not we want to call it a therapy session, I don't think it is, but it's definitely doing wonders. It's improving our well being and it's definitely connecting individuals all over the place. So, good morning if you're just joining Coffee Talk with Sunny and Chief, episode 23. We're here every Saturday morning, unless we announce that we're going to miss a Saturday, but we're always happy to be here with all of you. So, I hope you have your favorite cup of coffee. We have a little bit left in the hour, we have about 20 minutes or so. But yeah, I definitely took so much away from last night. It was, our friend Four Points, who always brings in the humor and his energy. I want to bring that up because, when like I started the live by saying when you're down someone's up and when you're up someone's down and it's like that balance that you find and it's hard to find it. But his energy was so high last night and I was like, "Can I have some of that, please?" you know? But just knowing that his energy was where it was already made me feel better. I'm like, I was really genuinely happy for him. I was like, "All right, I got to get it back. What is going on here?" It's kind of like sharing that smile that you don't want to share. Guys, if you're new to me, this means smile. Um, it really is contagious. And the person on the receiving end of that smile is going to generally smile back at you, which is just going to make you smile and be like, all right, I can do this. I got this. But I'm always going to go back to finding your community, finding your perfect fit, because honestly, not every group is for everybody. And not everybody's going to meet you where you are or be where you are in the journey. And that's really important. Not that we're not going to support someone if they're just starting off, but it's most certainly important to also recognize and always go back to this is adding value to my life and where I am in my journey right now. And yes, we're always bringing awareness at 22 a day. So please keep tapping that screen. We need to get to 22K. And everything that we do, 22 a day, guys. It's not 22 a day. It's either 44 a day or in the 50s at this point. One truly doesn't know. But those numbers and those statistics are just going higher and higher. We do have a mental health crisis in our country. And it's really important, going back to community, why we have to continue supporting one another, uplifting one another. But at the end of the day, that individual, we can't hold ourselves accountable for the choices that others are making, but we can definitely support them and do the best that we can, or bring them into groups such as the Sunny Side of Freedom or 420 Chief or other like minded individuals. We have a good friend here, Hillbilly. She's also very fantastic and always supporting as well. We got Rain, who's, getting out her own veteran stories. I mean, there's so many amazing people on this application doing amazing things. And it's also important to recognize everything they're doing. But, we can't do it alone. We need everybody putting in their part and investing their time as well. Um, 22 a day is a real number. And it's sad and it's heartbreaking because there's no one real answer. There's many things contributing to 22 a day. And it's important to talk about those things, breaking the silence of what is it? It's not just PTSD. PTSD is, a symptom of. There's other things involved, whether it's also drinking. Um, so many variables, so many variables. But as a society, we definitely need to start talking about it more openly. This is something that both myself and Chief strive to do while hosting these veteran interviews because their stories matter and they're sharing how they overcame. How did they overcome? Now, I find great benefit in that because for someone who's in the middle of going through this struggle right now, they need to hear that yes, you can overcome. And they're going to look for ways to do just that. Now, the way Chief did it or the way Four Points did it, just to name a few that I've already interviewed, may not be the same for you, but it'll definitely put you in that line of sight where it's like, okay, I can do this.
Yes. Yep. And raising awareness is more than just talking about it. There's a lot of ways to do that. And one of the best ways that I find is through stories, because stories connect with people, sharing real experiences. creates an emotional impact, and people can relate to that. They've probably experienced that or know someone who, like for example, with 22, I think every veteran in here knows of someone, and that resonates with us because it's real life. And, meetups is another way. Organizing meetups and events, those in-person events turn awareness into an action. And, merch is a great conversation starter. We talked about that a little last night. Wearing the t-shirts when I go out to the store with a 22 shirt like yours here, people will see that and ask questions, and it opens it right up for me to talk about it.
Absolutely. We did talk about that yesterday. The merch is more than just a t-shirt. The merch is actually bringing awareness into our communities. And, one of the t-shirts I highlighted yesterday that's in my merch store is Ask Me About 22. I want people to tap me on the shoulder. I want people to say, "Can you tell me about 22?" Because it's not something that's discussed in our societies. And honestly, how else will people know? Um, the truth of the matter is, many go unreported as such, as an attempt to take one's life. Rather, it's unfortunately so and so died in an unfortunate accident, or it was, drinking, whatever it is. They'll do something other than what it is, which is the truth of the matter is the individual chose to partake in that drinking, which led to that car accident. But the point of it is, it's misrepresented, and we do have an issue here in our country when it comes to taking care of our veterans. More often than not, we hear that the VA is failing, not timely in their responses. And this isn't true for all states or all people or all areas, and I recognize that. But those stories are important to get out because we need to, as our friend who we just recently got to know a little bit of, Samantha Bassett, said, we need to make some noise. Yes, we do. As a country, we need to make noise, and that noise should be surrounded by the message of it's time to stand by our veterans. We need to advocate for our veteran community. We need to, as a society, I don't care if you're not a veteran, it should bother you. You're an American. And we have a responsibility as an American to take care of our own. Well, they're ours, and they signed on the dotted line. I didn't. And I've said this message many times. It's our turn to serve. What can you do? Those voices are going to ring very loud and very clear. Wait a minute. This is a civilian who's this passionate. Why? Why? The why always comes into play. Why? Just look around. So it's part of that awareness that we're talking about. It's like strength in numbers, voices need to be heard, not just our veterans, because more often than not, they're being dismissed and we're trying to break these stigmas. Oh, they just have PTSD. That pisses me off. Well, who's to say that I don't have PTSD and I'm not a veteran? Would you treat me that way? Yes, you would. So those are stigmas. And I honestly do believe that when we start to break some of these boxes that we've put our veteran community into, we're going to start to see the changes that we need. We're going to start to see some improvement in mental health because mental health is affecting a lot of Americans and not just our veterans, but definitely affecting our veterans. And sorry, I went off a little bit of a tangent there, but that's the truth of the matter. And I genuinely do believe that. I believe that in every interaction that I have, if I could bring awareness, and yes, I'm going to stand my ground. I am a civilian. I'm a veteran advocate. Join me. What are you doing? And at the end of the day, it's like, well, what is our veteran community doing about what's going on in our country? Well, what are you doing? Personal accountability for the role that you play. We have a personal responsibility, not just to ourselves and our families and our employers, but to this country, the country that we live in. And we've put way too much on the backs of our veterans and those that are in service. And I do believe that. And if you're free to disagree with me in the chat, but that's how I feel. Those are my feelings and thoughts.
It becomes very difficult because as service members, there is that stigma behind it, and it's not easy to talk to people, especially people you don't know, especially people that haven't earned any form of trust. And so that's why it takes time. It really does take time to find the communities where people are comfortable enough to open up and talk about it. And I think that through talking about it, and our shared experiences, we can kind of help solve the problem because I've heard so many people say that they had problems with the VA or these hotlines. Talk about it. Bring awareness to that situation instead of pointing a finger so that we can make a change to make it better. Because so many people can come, like as a chief, people come, chief, this. They come with problems, but never with solutions. The more that we honestly talk about a situation without looking to place blame somewhere, we can find common ground and then work towards resolution. And we're not going to do that if we stay quiet. We're not going to do that with these stigmas because it's going to make people still be like, I'm not comfortable talking, or somebody's going to judge me based on this. We have to demonstrate that. I think that we're doing a great job about that by providing these platforms where we are demonstrating that level of support. We're demonstrating that level of communication to where new folks come in, they can ease themselves in to where they see that, these folks are comfortable there. And like you said, maybe they're listening in the hallway to some of these stories, some of these problems, and that resonates with them. And over time, they'll gain their comfort to come in. But the only way to make a dent in that is if more people, more networks are doing that and creating these safe spaces where people aren't uncomfortable coming in and talking about issues. Because if we're not talking about it, nothing's going to happen. You've got to talk about it and then be about it. You got to take action.
100% be about it. That's what I say. So, it's not just about clout. We don't just get on this platform for clout. I want to be famous on TikTok, please. If that were the case, my numbers would be much higher than what they are. It's quality over quantity. And although we need to bring awareness and we need that quantity, meaning that I need people to share it out and whatnot when I ask, but I want quality as well. Surround yourself with those individuals that are there to support, genuine support, and want nothing in return other than the fact that they just care. We talked a little bit about that yesterday. I think it was somebody that asked, what can I do? I'm like, just listen, and just care. Just be authentic. And trust is a huge piece, especially when we talk about our veteran community. Trust is a huge piece. Letting somebody into your life or sharing your story, it's like you got to earn that. You got to earn that. For some of us, yeah, we love to share. We're oversharers in some case. And then there's others, I'm like, no, I'm not opening that door to you. I can open this other door, but I'm not opening that door. And that takes time. But what I will say, Chief, in the last 2 years, especially 2024, I've met so many amazing individuals. And when we're referring to our veteran community, where we found each other and where we are now, it's like, oh my God, what a transformation. There's been so much growth. And I'm going to say the L word, which is love, because there was love there. Everything grows with love. You want something to grow, give it some love. And you know what I mean, whether it's water, sunshine, whatever it is. Um, you got to invest into people, right? And that starts with journey of healing. And if you're not even investing in yourself, I hate to say it, but nothing's going to grow. Not you, not the relationships around you. And that's hard because how do you tell somebody? We try to hold them accountable. We try to show them how these specific actions are hurting them. And at the end of the day, that accountability will always fall at their feet. And that's a huge one, but they don't have to do it alone. The load is heavy, but you don't have to do it alone, whether it's talking to a friend, talking through something and say, I get it. I was there. And this is what I had to do to get over that piece. But you're breaking apart pieces of it to try to overcome it. You don't eat the whole cake in one shot. It's piece at a time. So it's not easy, but it can be done. And that's not to say that we won't be triggered by things and events down the road, because yes, our body remembers, our minds, our emotions remember things that have happened to us, but we don't have to live there every single day.
Yes, just be present for people. With the music lives, I'm not doing anything. I'm playing music, I'll reflect, but people show up. And sometimes for me, that's all I need is just to know that someone's there. And I've used this analogy before. It's like telling my kids to clean their room. If I tell them to clean their room and then I leave and they shut the door, I could come back in an hour and they haven't cleaned anything. Now, if I tell them to clean their room and I just sit in there, just the fact that I'm present with them is enough that they feel like they're not alone and they'll do the work. I don't have to do the work for them. Just like on the music live, I'm not doing anything. I'm just there. And sometimes for me, just knowing that someone's there is all I need. Sometimes I don't even need to talk. I just need that feeling of connection with someone. Sometimes I do need to vent. Sometimes I don't even need a response. I just need to get it out. And sometimes I just need a laugh, someone to help me fill my cup so I can get back on the horse and ride, you know?
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, you guys, it's we're heading into our 1 hour mark. You know what time it is, right? And if you're new to
Oh
me,
boy.
stay tuned. Here we go. It's that time, and actually a little bit late in the hour for me to be doing this, but we're gonna do it anyway. Let's
Let's
go.
go. Hope you all stretched. I didn't. Oh my, I'm gonna
Doesn't
pop.
even want to play for me. Is it telling me something? Hmm. And there we go. Let's go. Warm up the shoulders. Warm up them shoulders. Let's go.
I wasn't expecting this.
Off from my city, off from my home. We're flying up, no ceiling when we in our zone. I got that sunshine in my pocket, got that good soul in my feet. I feel that hot blood in my body when it drops. Ooh, I can't take my eyes off of it, moving so phenomenally. You're more like the way we rock it, so don't stop. And under the lights when everything goes, nowhere to hide when I'm getting you close. When we move, well, you already know. So just imagine. Nothing I can see but you when you dance, dance, dance. Feel good, good creeping up on you. So just dance, dance, dance. Come on. All those things I shouldn't do, but you dance, dance, dance. And ain't nobody leaving soon, so keep dancing.
Well, I hope you guys warmed up your shoulders. If you're new to Coffee Talk, welcome to episode 23. Thank you all so much for getting us a 22.8K. That's what it says on my screen here. Always bringing awareness to 22 a day. Yet one more great coffee talk of just being honest with finding that balance for ourselves, guys. Go into this week and think about that word. If you take anything away, think about balance, think about community, think about be that champion for yourself. Keep patting yourself on the back on the hard days. Even though I had a really hard week mentally, I still patted myself like I got up, I went to work, I did the things I had to do, right? Pat yourself on the back. Don't beat yourself up. I beat myself up this week because I had a to do list that I have to get through. And I was constantly repeating that in my head like, I didn't do this. I didn't do that. Failing to recognize the things that I did do. And that it's okay not to have good days and it's okay to not have good weeks. And that, yes, you're going to struggle sometimes and continue leaning into the support that you find in others. Keep looking for that light that we talk about. Oh, darn it. TikTok making me do a puzzle. Sorry, guys. Um, I don't know why
Puzzler.
TikTok does that. Hello. Oh, puzzler. So needless to say, they're probably going to close my live. Oh my God, TikTok. Jesus, they're harassing me. Made me do it twice. Keep leaning into that support. Finding that light for yourself. And you can find that in others who will be there to support you along the way. You don't have to do it alone. Join the communities where you feel good. It's a space where you just genuinely feel good when you walk into the room. Yes, even on social media, and everyone's like, welcome in. Hello. Yeah, that happens. It happens here. It happens on Chief's Live. Continue doing that. And Chief, I look forward to your music live this evening, 7 p.m. Central Time, so we can vibe with Chief.
Yeah. And remember, not everything needs your energy. Let go of that stuff that isn't your burden. If it's draining you, remember you don't need to carry that. You don't need to carry that and celebrate yourself. Even the
Yes?
little victories, every little victory. Nobody knows what you've overcome. Nobody knows your battle. Nobody knows about your truth. That's worth celebrating because you are all amazing and you make me feel amazing. And I mean that from my heart, because people keep showing up and reminding me that I'm not alone, that we're all going through a lot of things together. And that really hits my heart. And I'm grateful for everybody that keeps showing up right here.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You guys are all truly amazing in our chat. Thank you so much for being who you are. I hope you walk away from today knowing that you're seen. We see you. We see how you care for others, and we appreciate that. Um, and I'm going to remind you, don't ever let anyone dim your light. Don't let them steal your joy. It's not worth it. People go through their own stuff, but no one has the right to take that away from you. And if they are trying to, block. It's that simple. No one has a right to make other people feel like crap. They just don't. And if it's not bringing you or adding value, then you don't need it in your life. Stay away from the drama and the chaos as much as you can. We have enough of that in our own lives, our personal lives, in the workplace and in society. We don't need to voluntarily add more. And at that point, it is a choice who you let in. So keep being amazing. Much love to all of you. Honestly, you stay sunny, you stay spicy, always make it count. I loved having you all here today. Keep sharing as much as you can. And I appreciate those of you who have shared the Break Stigmas website. Thank you so much. Yes, we're looking for sponsors and donations for this upcoming Veterans Meetup, uniting veterans across the nation. I am super excited. Honestly, I one of my favorite parts is not just being there, but then coming back and sharing it with all of you and having them get in the boxes and share their experiences. So yeah, I can speak this into fruition. It's going to happen. And there is the Break Stigmas account. Please give it a follow if you haven't. I also have a TikTok that we've started up on here. It's a platform where I think we're a little bit over 200 followers now. We need to get it to 500 and then to 1,000 if I want to start hosting lives there, which is essentially what I would love to do. So please give it a follow and share it with friends. Sharing is caring. Much love to all of you. Kick gas today. Get your smile on and share it with others you don't know who needs it. And if you need anybody, reach out. Okay. Reach out, please. Our DMs are open. Somebody will answer. I reassure you of that. Much love, and here we go. We will see you tonight on Vibing with Chief, 7 p.m. Central Time. And I will be back tomorrow night, free for all conversation. That means anybody gets the boxes, and that is at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. You too. You're all amazing. All amazing. Lead in love, lead the way, be the difference you want to see in others.